Do you ever wonder how those breathtaking FPV shots that you see online achieve that movie-like quality? Now, what if I told you that there's a secret to unlocking that smooth cinematic magic that you see from the pros? So stick around and I'm going to show you exactly how. So without any hanging about, let's get into it. Now, in order to get to the menu, you're going to want to press up on your directional little control pad on the goggles. Now, I very ever rarely use an FPV drone for photographs, so we're just going to focus on video at the moment. Next up, we have manual or auto mode. Now, I rarely ever have this in auto, as I'm always in manual. And the reason for this is I've got full control over me shutter speed and ISO in post. When it's running in auto, everything's done for you and you really don't have that much stretching power. The only other time I really use auto is when I'm transitioning from outdoor to indoor and the light adjustment is a bit extreme. Other than that, I'll keep it in manual mode. Right, next up is ISO. We really want to keep this as low as possible. The more ISO, the more noise we'll pick up in the background of our images and the grainier it will look. So 100 is fine. The highest I'll ever go, if the light needs me to go higher, I'll go to 200. Other than that, I'll always stay at 100 on the ISO. Now, shutter speed, following the 180 degree shutter rule, we want to keep that 1/120th of a second. And if you're running 30 frames per second, then your shutter speed should be 1/60th of a second. So with the 180 degree shutter rule, you should always double your frame rate. The reason we do this is to create motion blur in the shot, and this is the most natural way that our eyes actually see motion blur. This is the best way to capture cinematic movement, especially if you're using a DJI Avata 2. Now, if you're having a problem with your frame rate being 1/120th of a second, well then I suggest you get some ND filters. ND filters are just effectively a pair of shades for the lens, reducing the amount of light that enters, so you can fly and film in brighter conditions and still use the 180 degree shutter rule. Now we're going to talk about EV exposure value. Now this is only applicable if you're running in auto mode. Because I never really ever fly in auto mode, I always fly in manual, but if I ever do, I want to knock the value down to -1 just in case, just so I have that little extra control over the lighting situation. Now moving on to white balance. Again, set this to manual and never auto. And I know it can be annoying setting your white balance every single time you fly, but believe me, it pays off, and having it set to auto can make it jump between warm tones and cool tones mid-flight. So manually setting your white balance has its own advantages. And here are the settings that I use for each condition. On a cloudy day, you want to switch it to around 6,000 to 6,300. That should keep you covered on a cloudy day. On a sunny day, you want it around 5,600 kelvins. Now, if you're filming within the golden hour, the hour between sunset and sunrise, you want to be setting it between 5,600 and 5,800, just to bring out the nice, beautiful, crisp colours of the sunset. Now, these are the settings I use. Now, you can write these down, or don't worry, they'll be in the PDF downloadable for free. Right, so next up we have aspect ratio. Now, depending on what you're filming, I use a lot of 16:9 footage, but if you do a lot of social media, you might want to go 4:3, as you get a lot on the top and the bottom of your screen, and it's also great for vertical cropping. So depending on what you're actually use it for, this is actually user preference, but me personally, I always stay 16:9. While we pause here for a second, I just want to thank you guys for watching. But did you know that over 80% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel? So if you're getting any type of value whatsoever, can you please smash that subscribe button, hit like, and pass it on to a friend who needs it. Now let's get back into it. Now, video quality, you want to keep it at 4K, and depending on what frame rate you want to run, 60 is what I say. So 4K by 60, you're all cool. Now here's where it gets interesting with your field of view, and listen to me carefully guys. You want to always, and I mean always, keep this set to wide. The reason being is if you use ultra wide or if you use normal, the actual drone doesn't save gyro data. Now this specifically helps you if you want to stabilize your video while you're editing. This is a lot better than using the internal stabilization that's in the Avata 2. Now you only get this from using wide mode. If you use wide, all the gyro data is saved. Now you can use that data in an external app called Gyroflow. This app actually is amazing and it does wondrous things, and it's a lot better than the stabilization internally with the Avata 2. All you do is upload your footage that's saved in wide mode and it will be able to stabilize it a lot better than the internal stabilization. Set to ultra wide, you lose that gyro data. Gyroflow only lets you stabilize it while you use wide mode. So personally, and a big key element is keeping it in wide mode. And I'll leave a link in the description for the download of Gyroflow. Now next up is ISO limit, and again this is only if you're using auto ISO. Generally you want to keep your ISO limit between 4 and 800. You don't want to be any higher than that, as it can create more noise and distortion in your background, and the video can look a lot more grainy. So between 4 and 8 is perfect. Now next up is your AIS, electronic image stabilization, or as seen here, recording stabilization. Now this determines whether you're gonna stabilize beforehand. Now as we said, we're going to use Gyroflow, so we want to set this to off, but if you set it to rock steady, it will stabilize the footage as you're doing it, but it can't read the gyro as good as Gyroflow does in post. So compared Gyroflow or stabilization internally, I would definitely 100% always go for Gyroflow and stabilizing my footage in post. It's a lot better, it's a lot smoother, and it irons out any of that wobbly and shakiness. So switch this off, and as you can see, when disabled, gyroscope data will be included in the video file when camera FOV is set to wide. So as we discussed earlier, if you set it to wide and use stabilization in post, but it's saving the gyro data, just so your saved program file can be used in an application just like Gyroflow. So make sure you're set to wide, not ultra wide and not normal. On to the next setting, and this is color. Now this is a big important one for me also. I always keep it in D-Log mode. Although normal looks fantastic, granted normal color is a lot more higher in contrast and saturation, but D-Log M gives you a lot more options when it comes to color grading and LUTs. So choose D-Log M for best results. Next is color display, and I always have this on as it assists with the color while I'm flying. Now let me just tell you, this actually does nothing to your image or video actually saved to the file. This is actually just for your eyes benefit while you're flying. So I always have this to set to on, just to give that little bit of pop of color to help me while I'm flying. So you still have full control over your image in post. And now you have the tools to make your Avata footage look insane. Now if you got any type of value from this video whatsoever, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and also let me know in the comments what drone video you guys would like to see me do next. I'm Adam from Drone and Lens. You guys have been colourful, and I hope to see you in the next one.